Line pregame show presented by the one and only Sherwood Ford. Tyler and Caroline in the house. We got Liam, the producer, behind the camera, and we're getting ready to get rolling here. Tyler, how you feeling?
I'm good. Hopefully the Oilers can bounce back tonight. Plenty to get to for this one, though.
Their second loss of the season, of course, losing to the Red Wings 4-2. Goals for us scored by Puljujarvi and McDavid. And just the second time the Oilers have scored fewer than 3 goals in a game this season. Tyler, you had a pretty awesome article on OilersNation.com, so if you guys haven't checked it out, please do. Called Good Teams Lose Games, and you spoke to how some fans are writing off this team now that they've just faced their second loss of the season.
I'm all for living in the moment, but at the same time, I mean, bigger picture here, the Oilers are 9-2, and did they play great against Detroit? No, they got off to a really slow start. Second game in a row where they've fallen behind by multiple goals in the first 2 periods, and they were sloppy. They had some bad turnovers. But good teams have bad games. Good teams lose games. And I think sometimes people, they drill in, they watch the Oilers all 82 games. I mean, if you watch the Tampa Bay Lightning for all 82 games, there's going to be a lot of nights where they don't look very good. If you watch the Boston Bruins, the Washington Capitals, all these teams, they have off nights. The concern for the Oilers would be, all right, are they having 3 or 4 bad nights in a row? And that would be an issue. But right now, I mean, one loss to Detroit, it was basically a 1-goal loss as well. They were so close to coming back at the end of that game. Puljujarvi slid one just wide. They probably should have gotten another power play or 2 as well with some missed calls on McDavid. What else is new? There's no concerns with that loss for me from Detroit. There's a couple things on maybe my watch list that I'm going, that might be an issue moving forward. But as of right now, I mean, one loss is one loss.
We talk about the star power in our offense for the Oilers. In that stat, again, we haven't scored as much as we'd seen the Oilers do against the Red Wings. Do you think that the top line is maybe getting a little fatigued? Do you think that the depth in the team need to start providing more?
Yeah, I think to an extent, absolutely. McDavid and Draisaitl basically averaging 2 points a game. I mean, they could do that for the whole year, but in all likelihood, they're not going to do that for the entire season. There's going to be games that you're going to have to win 3-2 or 3-1 and do it with a few goals from your bottom 6. The concern is that Zach Kassian's out of the lineup. We'll get to that in a second here with our lineup report. But yeah, they definitely need a little bit more from sort of their supporting cast right now. And I mean, that game against Detroit's a prime example of it. If they would have gotten a little bit more, 1 more goal from their bottom 6, they're at least getting a point out of that hockey game.
How can they get more from their bottom 6, though? Like, what's the key to that?
I mean, that's kind of the million-dollar question here is how can they get more? And I mean, a guy like Ryan McLeod, you'd maybe like to see a little bit more from him. I know he just made his debut or season debut, so there's some time there. But I think just getting some luck even to an extent. Like a guy like Warren Foegele, he's getting pretty much a shot a game over his last 5. So is Derek Ryan. They're getting some looks. You just got to bear down and finish.
You said in your Good Teams Lose Games article that a lot of fans are saying that the Oilers are lucky because the goaltending has held up. They're lucky because the power play is bailing them out. Do you think that there's way more to this team that people aren't focusing on as a whole that they should be? Well,
what I just don't get with the power play one in specific is people keep going, they're lucky their power play's bailing them out. Yeah, because they have 2 of the best players in the world. Like, having a good power play is not something that's bad. Like, it's not like they'd be winning more games if they were just scoring at 5-on-5. Like, I don't really understand using the power play as like a shot at this team. Like, you wait. Once their power play stops scoring, they're going to lose games. Okay, their power play might not stop scoring. Like, it's good because of the talent they have, not because they just got really lucky for like 9 or 10 games. So I don't really understand people using that as like a slight on this great start to the Oilers season. Their power play's legit. They will keep getting power play chances, sometimes not as many as they maybe deserve, but their power play will keep getting chances to win them hockey games. That's not just going to go away magically.
Stuart Skinner, 35 save performance. Did really well, came up with a bunch of critical saves for the Oilers, but might be talked about the most for his, misplay where Dylan Larkin scored for the Red Wings. Thoughts on Stuart Skinner and what he brought to the Oilers team in that game?
I mean, I was kind of one of those people over the last couple weeks saying, no, you don't go to Stuart Skinner just for the sake of it. Keep rolling with Koskinen. He's playing well. He's giving you chances to win games. But Stuart Skinner kind of made me eat my words a little bit. He was great early on in that game, especially, even when it got to 2-0. He's the reason why it didn't get to 3, 4, 5-0 quicker. And I thought Stuart Skinner was great. The one miscue, I'm not holding that against him at all. We've seen Mikko Koskinen do that this year. We've seen Mike Smith do that countless times during his Oilers career. That's the stuff that just kind of happens. So Stuart Skinner was great, and I think he earned another start tomorrow against Buffalo.
All right, we've got a couple questions in the Twitter chat, which we will get to when we talk about lineups. For now, let's head over to the opposition report presented by Yeg Burger. Obviously, the boys are in Boston. Fun fact, one of my least favorite teams as a former Toronto Maple Leafs fan. Obviously, we're 9-2. The Boston Bruins are 6-4-0 with some star players, of course. Brad Marchand, David Pastrnak, Patrice Bergeron, Taylor Hall. We know these guys. This is a team that I feel like can come out on any given night and absolutely pummel a team because of their star power. So they're just coming off of a win against the Sens. I believe they won 3-2.
Yep.
What can we expect from this team tonight against an Oilers team that I think really needs to bounce back here tonight?
Yeah, it's a Bruins team that's one of the best in the NHL at generating offense. 5-on-5 shots for percentage. The Bruins are first in the league. Now they're all the way down in the bottom third of the league when it comes to 5-on-5 goals for percentage. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Mikko Koskinen to come through. This is a Bruins team that throws a lot of rubber at the net, and they're very good at preventing shots. You mentioned the usual cast of characters at the top of their lineup. Those have been the guys pulling the weight so far this season. This is a Bruins team that's legit. They've perfect so far this season on home ice at 5-0-0. They've won 2 of their last 3. You know, that game against Detroit was one the Oilers probably would have liked to have, and I think when they look back on this road trip, they'll go, getting off to that slow start might have really cost us, because tonight against Boston, if you start slow, you're not getting back in this hockey game.
All right, lineups presented by Deuce Vodka for the Boston Bruins, please.
Yeah, the perfection line up top, I mean, as usual, Bergeron, Pastrnak, and the team's leading scorer, Brad Marchand, 15 points on the season for Brad Marchand. The second line, Charlie Coyle down the middle, Nick Foligno going to make his return to the lineup, and over on the left side is one Taylor Hall. In his last 5 games, he's picked up 4 points. He has 12 shots on goal. So Halsey looking to keep it rolling with the Bruins here. The third line is Eric Holla with Jake DeBrusk and Craig Smith. They have not gotten a single point from that third line in their last 5 games. So the Bruins, a team similar to the Oilers, not getting a ton of production from their bottom 6. The fourth line is Thomas Nosek with Curtis Lazar on the right side, the former Edmonton Oil King. And the blue line for the Bruins, Forbort with McAvoy, who just got that big extension a few weeks ago, Matt Grzelcyk with Brandon Carlo, and Mike Riley with Connor Clifton.
Amazing lineups for the Edmonton Oilers. We know that Mikko Koskinen is back in net after letting 5 goals in against the Rangers. So thoughts on him, and also who's replacing Kassian in the lineup?
Yeah, the top 6 is going to go back to that usual McDavid and Draisaitl split up format. So Draisaitl, Yamamoto, and Nuge, Hyman with McDavid and Puljujarvi. Derek Ryan will play with Warren Foegele, and Kyle Turris will be on the right side. He draws in for the injured Zach Kassian, who Dave Tippett said today is listed as day-to-day. McLeod with Sevier and Perlini, that won't change. And actually, I thought that line was decent. I thought McLeod had a couple of good rushes up the ice. He was forechecking hard. Perlini had his best scoring chance of the year coming in down the left side. He just couldn't bury on it. The blue line, expecting it to stay the same. Nurse with Bouchard, Keith with Ceci, and Cuckoo with Barry. Cuckoo had a bit of a rough game. I'm a little surprised they're not going back to Chris Russell here. And you mentioned Koskinen between the pipes, because Mike Smith has returned to Edmonton after having I think Tippett just described it as a setback during practice. So I know the Twitch chat was blowing up a little bit there with some concerns between the pipes with Smith going back. You know, you can go glass half full, glass half empty. Are they sending Smith back to Edmonton as a precautionary measure? Are they sitting there going, Koskinen and Skinner, they're playing good enough. When Smith comes back, they want him to stay for the rest of the season. So maybe that's why they're being extra cautious here. Or do you sit there and go, 39-year-old goalie's taking a long time to come back from what we thought was a minor injury?
Well, that's what the controversy is, right? I mean, naturally, just the way life goes, an older individual will take longer to heal from an injury than, let's say, Tyler, who's, young and thriving. So
yeah, for sure. Right?
I'm giving Tyler a bunch of compliments on the show, but let us know what you guys think in the chat about Mike Smith. I also want to know if a bunch of Edmonton Oilers fans are Taylor Hall fans, so let us know in the chat. Blow it up. We're here to answer all the questions and read them out right now. Let's talk about the bet of the game presented by PointsBet. Tyler.
Yeah, let's dig into the line, courtesy of our friends over at PointsBet for just the oh, God. Oh, no, I just remembered what we have to do. For the second time this year, Caroline, the Oilers are underdogs.
Oh, no! Okay, you do it first.
Oilers are dogs. They won last time they were underdogs against Las Vegas, getting a 5-3 win. They covered the puck line in that game as underdogs as well. Tonight, the Oilers are plus 120 on the money line. They are plus 165 to win the game in regulation. And they are, if you want to go puck line, you got to go pick your own line. And to get the Oilers at minus 1.5, it's plus 290. So if you think the Oilers bounce back with a win, you're going to get a pretty nice payout. The over-under is set at 6 with Ullmark and Koskinen as the expected starters. The bet of the game is coming off a loss. We needed one more goal in that game against Detroit. Did not get it. We'll look to bounce back, though. I'm going with Tyson Barrie to pick up a point. It's paying out pretty much even money on points bets. So Tyson Barrie over half a point. I like the Oilers' power play to bounce back and find the back of the net. And if they do that, Barrie can always be in the mix. So I like the value there.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
4?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Oh my God, Tyler kills me. Okay, the Zodiac report today is on Kyle Turris because we are depending on him to fill big shoes for Zach Kassian. He is, of course, the fabulous sign of Leo, which we've not talked about Leos yet on the Zodiac report. So Leos are strong, fearless, natural leaders. These individuals work well alone, but they also really work well in a group setting. However, when they are in the group setting, they want to stand out and prove to everyone that they are the best at their job. So Kyle Turris has 1 goal in the season. I think he steps up in Zach Kassian's place today on the third line and goes to work. This is what the Oilers need right now. Big game against the Boston Bruins. Big game on the road, and yeah, we'll see what the boys do on the road today, Tyler. It's going to be a big one to watch. I love, as much as I dislike the Bruins, I love watching them play because it's always a good game.
Yeah, it's
a
always
fun
exciting.
Game to watch. Yeah,
they're a really fast-paced team, and a guy like Charlie McAvoy on the blue line helps with that.
Yes.
Bearded Brad in the Twitch chat, he's calling for 2 Neon Nation bombs tonight. So Bearded Brad might be calling in sick from work tomorrow if he's pounding back that many. Over to the Facebook chat, our man Will, who I don't think Will's missed a single show yet. He wants Perlini up on the third line with Fogle and Ryan. I don't mind the look of that, getting a couple big bodies opposite of Derek Ryan. And I mean, Kyle Turris has been, he's been average this year, so I wouldn't mind seeing that. And you know what? We know how much Dave Tippett likes to go to the blender, so I will say, if that bottom 6 isn't rolling right off the bat, I don't think Dave Tippett feels any sort of loyalty to any of those guys. He might be mixing that around quickly.
When's it time for Lamborghini Perlini to turn on the Jets? Because everyone, even in our pregame predictions that we do on TikTok, everyone's rooting for Perlini, but we just haven't seen it from him yet.
Yeah, I mean, step in the right direction. Like I said, he had a really good scoring chance against Detroit, so hopefully he keeps that rolling. And again, maybe if Turris is off to a slow start, maybe if that bottom 6 isn't rolling, maybe Perlini gets a chance to jump up a little bit here tonight.
We got Lady Lindsay in the Twitter chat. Hall fan here. My first game was against Boston at Rexall Place. Boston won 3-2. Very cool. Yeah, it's good to know. I love hearing all these comments, everyone. Why not push Benson up from the 4th line with Kassian's injury?
Benson's actually not going to be expected to be in the lineup again, which is a little surprising. I thought coming off a loss, Dave Tippett might go for a bit of a different look. So yeah, like, I wouldn't have been against putting Benson on that third line with Ryan and Fogle and giving him a bit of a better chance. I mean, Benson's shown he can score at the American League level. Yeah, and again, maybe that's something because it's back-to-backs. They're just kind of saving Benson a little, and they'll slot him in for either Sevier or Turris and move someone over to the right side of the ice for tomorrow's game against Buffalo. But we'll see. Before we wrap up, we need to give some love, and the Nation viewing party is coming up.
Yes, November 27th. We're all going to be at Campio Brewing. I believe tickets are $25 a pop, and you get like a goodies bag with that, some gift cards.
I think you get a piece of Nation gear.
Yeah, Nation gear.
And there's a rumor that Jay Downton might buy you your first beer.
Oh, and there's a rumor that Tyler Yaremchuk's going to be there and the star of the show.
Yes, and you'll be hosting the event as well, and I'll just be kind of cruising around, mooching off people, going table to table. It'll be a lot of fun.
Tyler told me he's going to give astrology reports to everybody.
Although, okay, no, and I need to address this. There's a rumor that Surveyor Brett has started that I'm going to be wearing a male romper at the viewing party. He is cherry-picking that audio. Surveyor Brett is fake news. The thing was, if I came dead last in our Nation Real Life Fantasy Football League, then I would wear the romper. I'm not in last. I'm not wearing a male romper. The Twitch chat's going nuts about that right now. It's not happening.
Okay, there's also a rumor that we're going to be singing Who Let the Dogs Out. That I would do. Would you do it?
If I have enough Nation beers, I would do it.
Okay, guys, basically, fill Tyler up with some Nation beer, and then we'll do a nice karaoke performance. All right, everyone, see you at the Nation viewing party. We'll be back here tomorrow, I believe, right?
Yes, we will. Shout out to Short for the Giant.
Bye. Enjoy the game.